Join us for a deeper dive into these two issues and more is Mark Mitchell himself. Mark, I did not sponsor this poll, though I'm sure a lot of people are going to think I did.
Might as well. It's
or
like,
Lindell
this is
TV, we could have.
Yep. Well, it's pretty mind-blowing, all right. And the biggest one is that how big an impact the biggest lie, the gaslighting, no, there's no election integrity problems, your lying eyes are deceiving you, that had a major impact. It was like the Streisand effect. 66% of voters thought that the outcome of this election was going to be affected by cheating. And that's like banana republic levels of, integrity. And so we've been asking all these questions. And here's another mind blower. And this is like right in your strike zone because of what you've been tweeting. But how concerned are you that electronic voting systems may allow votes to be changed remotely through the internet during voting? And it's like literally everybody, 64% of US likely voters and only 31% are not concerned. But here's the thing, it's also a majority of Democrats. And it's like almost every single Republican. It's almost 80% of Republicans. And then what you're putting up there is, the plurality response is that America thinks these machines make it easier to cheat, including a plurality of Democrats, half of Republicans, only 22% think machines make it harder to cheat, and independents as well. And so America wants clean elections, and they know that things like paper ballots and audits are probably the right way to get there. We should probably have things like voter ID. There should probably be clean election rolls. And so, unfortunately, I think that the Trump administration really needs Republicans to buckle down, his administration to really go after this fast, because like you alluded to, I don't think things are looking good for November 26 right now.
Yeah, expand on that a little bit. Because according to your numbers, Republicans are not going to perform well, given even a fair system, right?
Well, right now, I think the establishment is in many ways trying to stay in status quo mode. They're like stuck on grift mode. Republicans are acting like Republicans and Democrats are doing their own thing. And everybody, kind of expects that the party in power loses the House in the fall of November 26th. So what's happening right now is everybody's cherry picking data to make them feel good about sitting on their butts. Things like the fact that Quinnipiac says that Democrat approval rating of the party is at 19% right now. That's a fake number. Democrat Party approval is not at 19 right now. It's probably like 46%. Republicans 47%. Really? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Trump administration is out there quoting that one. And then one of the ones that really gets me going is you have a lot of Republican leaders out there. I just saw Byron Donalds talking about it a month or two ago, bragging about how conservative the youngest generation is, Generation Z, and that they're moving right and they're super conservative. They are not. And we just had a really mind-blowing poll that basically proves it. Now, what is true is that they are much more Trumpy than they were back in 2016. Hillary Clinton won that group in our polling by over 20 points, the 18 to 39-year-olds. It was closer to about a 4-point lead for Kamala Harris in our polling. So they moved massively towards Trump, which is true. And then in the spring, in February of March, Trump approval among the 18 to 39-year-olds was massive. It got up to 60%, the highest age group. Well, what was happening right then? Well, Elon Musk was burning down the federal government. That's what was happening. And so these people really want the system to change. But they are not, they are not committed to our founding ideals. They are not exactly stuck on free market capitalism mode. They don't really care that much about the First Amendment. They're worried about economic fairness, and if Trump and the Republicans can't give it to them, they're going to go right into the arms of Bernie Sanders. We have a whole lot of examples of just mind-blowing stuff. Things like only 33% of self-identified Republican 18 to 39-year-olds say no to the idea of capping income. That's pretty mind-blowing. 78% of them would support nationalizing major industries, including healthcare, energy, and big tech, in order to give more control and equity to the people. And so I think that this is one of those things. You saw it on the tweet right now. Donald Trump's only underwater in job approval, 7 points among the 18 to 29-year-olds. The Republicans in the generic ballot are down 16 points on the young ones. And so I think across the board, there's probably components of Trump's big tent that just aren't going to turn out in November 26. And Republicans are patting their back for their November 24 performance. Well, Trump is the one that got you more votes than you've ever had before. And those people are not turning up. Look at the special elections. They're not turning up in special elections either. And not only are Republicans losing special elections in districts that Donald Trump carried, the RNC is apparently nowhere to be found in these things. And I think we're going to see it really big in New Jersey and Virginia too. Now, I haven't polled either of those races yet, but I've seen other polling. And I think people are going to be surprised because everybody thinks the country is moving to the right. Well, it did in 24, and New Jersey came really close in 21, but everybody hated COVID and Governor Murphy then. You don't have the same thing now. Mikey Sherrill that Chiarelli's running against kind of looks like, a veteran family woman moderate. And that's what all the ads are going to be. And so Democrats still have their machine. As far as I know, they still have all of their election integrity built in, baked in ballot harvesting operations and mail-in ballot schemes. Like, I don't think they still have Act Blue. Act Blue is still out there laundering about $400 million a quarter into Democrat political action committees. And so everybody says, the Republicans are raising so much money. Look, the RNC outraised the DNC. Okay, well, that's one measure for sure. But nobody's looking at the whole big picture.
You're exactly right. We talked about that Act Blue funding mechanism in a prior segment earlier in the show. And look, I can attest to what you're saying in Virginia because I'm on the ground here. And I think this time around, Abigail Spanberger doesn't even have to cheat to win, perhaps, the governorship. Because Winsome Sears, I don't think her campaign's doing a fantastic job right now. And I don't see much support for her in the state. And Abigail Spanberger's commercials is doing exactly what you said about New Jersey and trying to paint her as a moderate mother. She's anything but. She's a far left-leaning CIA agent. Okay. Yeah. And as far as for fairness here, you talked about the mail-in ballot operations still being in play. Look, in Virginia, and I'm going to touch on this tomorrow with Lieutenant Colonel Alan West out of Texas, because they had a Dallas County elections guy move to run. He's got an executive role. His name is Hyder Garcia at Hart InterCivic now. Well, that's used a lot here in Virginia, that electronic voting. We always talk about a couple companies, right? But it's not just, that's why I think your polling on the electronic voting systems as a whole is so important, because it's not about this company or that company. It's about the system altogether. And this guy he began his career at Smartmatic. Okay. It's a big club, and they just move their parts around. We got a lot of start.
Even if you couldn't convince America to hate the voting machines, America already believes in paper ballots, especially in Republican states. And so the big crime here is that in Republican states that are trying paper ballots, like Arkansas, it's the Republican establishment that's shutting these people down. And I can only conjecture why. Probably complicity, probably some aspect of that. I think that these voting machines are capable of getting a lot of money into the hands of state executives. I think that's a really big problem. I think that's probably what's going on in Louisiana and stuff. And so when there's a lot of money in play, it looks like everything gets corrupted. That's the entire story of our entire federal government. And so the problem that Republicans have is that they won because people were voting against Biden by voting for Trump. But the high watermark was when Biden was destroying the country. The Republicans have lost that high watermark, and unless they give people a reason to vote for them, they're going to keep losing. And I'm sorry, but your granddaddy's conservatism is not the reason that, especially the young people, want somebody to win.
When are you going to do the Virginia polling? I'll be interested in seeing that.
Well, we're going to start with New Jersey. I'll probably do that in 2 weeks. And depending on how close that is, determines whether I'll do Virginia. I think Virginia's going to be a loss. But of course, things are changing fast now. I said a few weeks ago, man, August is slow. But the second September starts, we're going to get hit with a lot. And already we're seeing like the White Lives Matter movement is like, yeah.
That's exactly what I told our team here at Lindell TV. I'm like, breathe in August, because September is going to hit with a vengeance, and it has. Mark Mitchell, thank you for this. We didn't even get to the China poll that we wanted to bring you back on. So I will point our audience to go to Rasmussen Reports online. That polling information is there. You can subscribe too, and so that you get all the polling data. That's what I do. So you can also support Mark Mitchell's great work. Thanks, Mark. We'll be watching out for.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it. The establishment doesn't support us, so we would really appreciate it if everybody watching this did.
And it's fascinating information. You'll love it. So go to Rasmussen Reports and subscribe, because they have to have the support to keep rolling out the polling that no one else will do. And fair, unbiased polling. We always appreciate you, Mark. It's always fun. Good
Thanks.
to see you.
Great to be here.